My son is taking a nap, so let's talk about 11 weeks postpartum. Cheers. Starting with sleep. I am reluctant to say this because I don't want to jinx it, and also I feel for people who have more difficult babies, but I think my son is, generally speaking, an easier baby. He has been sleeping well pretty much since we brought him home, but in addition to his temperament, I do really believe that us having a strong routine has really helped him thrive and help him sleep really well. Last night he slept through the night, the night before he slept through the night. He might have the odd hiccup where he wakes up at like 4 a.m., but broadly speaking, he is sleeping through the night and he is 11 weeks old. So that feels like a win. If you want to hear more about how we've been doing this and what we've been doing, I made a whole video on that, so you can go check that out. But yeah, it's what we're doing seems to be working for us. And on a separate but related note, to touch on his crying, generally speaking, if he doesn't have a need that's not being met, he will typically not cry. And if he does cry, generally I find that it's because he has gas. This week, we had an instance where he was inconsolable in the evening, which I think I talked about last week too, where it feels like he needs to go to the bathroom and he's just not able to go. So I've been giving him little tummy massages. He'll then go to the bathroom and feel perfectly fine. But this week there was an instance where he was not feeling perfectly fine despite all my tummy rubs. So I thought, let's just crack on with our bedtime routine. I put him in the bath, and what does little man do? He poops in the bath, which was hilarious, but not so hilarious because I then had to clean it up by myself. I was doing bath time myself, so I had to hold him in one arm, empty the bath, refill it. It was like a whole thing. But yeah, definitely find that he's only crying when he has a need that's not being met or when he's in pain. And for that, I'm really lucky because I know that not every baby's like this. I'm actually super curious if we have a second baby, how they will be different and if the next one might be more difficult than my son, because I can't imagine him being that much easier considering he's a baby, right? So yeah, I feel very lucky. But I also want to just highlight that we do have a routine and we're doing all of the things to make sure that we're meeting his needs before he gets to the point of crying as much as possible. But yeah, he doesn't have colic or anything like that. And yeah, for that, I'm very grateful. Moving on to feeding. I was under the misconception that once you nailed breastfeeding, that was it. I thought it was like a binary thing. Like either you are in pain when you're breastfeeding or you're not in pain when you're breastfeeding. And once you pass that point of not being in pain anymore, you will never be in pain again. This I found to not be true. I had an instance this week where, yeah, same as last week, he latched a little bit funny, and then it just was so painful every time I fed him. So I'm now trying to make a point of really making sure that when I latch him well and that he's fully opening his mouth before I put him on the boob. Because if it's too shallow, then it's just not worth it for the pain that comes afterwards. I'm at a point now where breastfeeding, when it is done correctly and when he's latched well and everything's going fine, it doesn't hurt at all. I don't even feel it, which is fantastic. I still keep my hand there, like pushing against my boob to keep the boob in his mouth because I'm still terrified of him ripping my nipple off, but hopefully that will go away. We will see. Before, my son is loving his bath time. He is just obsessed with bath time. We play some classical music, we get some bubbles going, and he could be in the worst mood and you put him in that bath and he's just like a dream. As per this week when he pooped in the bath, he was like screaming and crying, and as soon as he was in that warm water, he just like totally relaxed, and relaxed a little bit too much clearly. But yeah, he's loving his bath time. Besides that, like I guess developmentally, we're seeing him imitate us more. So for example, like I can open my mouth and then he'll open his mouth. And we had like the most adorable moment yesterday where he was in my arms and I was just like making faces and he was kind of trying to imitate me, but then like laughing at the act of trying. It was so wonderful and beautiful, and it was the best. I'm trying to make an effort of not filming him because I'm not sharing anything about him on social media, but I do have a WhatsApp group where I'm sharing updates with my family and just sharing like little things throughout the day of my son. But I really don't like the idea of having my camera in his face like this, if you see what I mean, because I feel like for a baby or anyone who's growing up, that must be quite a weird experience and quite unsocial. So I always try and film to the side on like a selfie mode so I can kind of see what I'm filming and try and get him like that so he's not looking at a camera, if you see what I mean. There was one moment this week where he was doing something super adorable, and both I had my parents on the phone and my husband had his parents on the phone, and we were both in his face with the phone. And I kind of for a moment was like, whoa, this is a lot for a baby to have like phones in their face and to not even be able to see my face because my phone is here, right? So I ended up putting my phone to the side so my mom could still watch but not be like in his face. And yeah, I've been thinking a lot about like technology and babies and the experience, because it's so different to when we were babies, right? Like you might have a camera and that was it. It wasn't like you were being filmed literally with the person's face being blocked from your view. Sorry for showing off my ring that's missing a diamond, fun fact. But yeah, to have a phone in your face and to not be able to see the person that you're engaging with, yeah, it's something that I've been thinking a lot about, and I can make a separate video on that. But yeah, other than that, everything's going well. Very much in love still, thriving in motherhood-ish as much as I can be. Sometimes it is so exhausting. Like, for example, especially after I've had a big lunch, I might be dying for a nap or really craving to just lie down. And of course I can't, because it might not be his nap time. He might not be wanting to nap. I will say that naps have been more difficult than nighttime sleep for us. He sleeps at night very well, but during the day he tends to give a little bit of a fuss to go down. So I think I'm also still learning how to get him to nap during the day. So like just now, as he's napping right now, I kind of like bounced him until I could see he was getting a little bit drowsy, and then I put him down. As much as possible, I'm trying to not put him down sleeping because I want him to practice and rehearse the act of falling asleep. But anyway, I digress. That is week 11. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to hear if you have an 11-week-old, how that's going. Did I miss anything? Let me know. Have a great weekend.